How do you earn your booze when you're stuck at home? It is a Earn Your Booze podcast coming at you. Justin Cross, the CEO. My name is Rob Hunter, the CBO. What's going on, Justin? How you holding up being cooped up at home?
What's up, Rob? I'm looking forward to the gyms opening again. I can tell you that, but I'm doing all right.
Well, so that brings up a big question because as this was all starting, it was before we had the stay-at-home order in the state of Arizona in which we live. You had decided you were going to do 75 hard days. So first of all, explain what 75 hard is and why the hell it's so hard.
Yeah. 75 Hard is a program that Andy Frisella came up with, and it's basically 75 days of not just physical but mental toughness. And it's teaching yourself that you can push yourself harder mentally and physically. So it's a couple things that might sound crazy at first, but as you get into it, you honestly become a little addicted to it. So you have to do 2 45-minute workouts every day, and one of them has to be outside no matter what is happening outside with the weather, whether it's snowy or 100 degrees or raining or hailing or whatever. That's the whole point of it, is you're getting out there and weathering those elements no matter what for one of your 2 workouts a day. So then there's a couple other things involved, I was going
to say, luckily we live in sunshine, so most of the time that helps. However, if you get to the point where it's 108 degrees out, that's a challenge.
Yeah, it really is, and it's actually kind of fun, though, once you get used to it. I was out running, I think it's maybe 2 weeks ago now, in the rain, like a couple days in a row, and I actually started to like it because it was so weird and it did suck, but you get done with it and you're like, that was awesome. Why would I ever run in a normal time when it's easy? It was cool getting through that extra bit of a challenge,
Yeah, well, speaking of challenge, so what have you noticed as you're going through this? Not just running in the rain, but now you have to schedule 2 workouts a day, 45 minutes. So that's 90 minutes plus prep work plus downtime. So you're talking 2 hours plus of your day you have to sort of segment to workout. So that's a challenge in and of itself. And, what else on top of that have you noticed going through this as you're still trying to earn your booze while you're stuck at home?
Well, the scheduling for sure. I mean, the fact that we are stuck at home, it's actually a little bit easier because there's no travel time to and from the gym or whatever. I mean, you're working out here or running out the front door. So that part's a little bit easier, but still, if you're not doing the workouts back to back, if you are going to do them, say one morning, one afternoon or something, scheduling them is really super important because it's very easy to just, let the day get away from you. And, now the sun's going down. Maybe that's a deterrent for some people. They don't want to go work out outside when it's dark for whatever reason. Who knows? Maybe they're scared of the dark or this, whatever. So you really have to make sure that you really understand. You got to make sure that you understand your day and how you're spending every minute if you're looking to get 2 different workouts in, and especially if one's outside, So I've actually been faced a couple times knowing that there was a storm coming in. I was faced with the decision, do I want to go outside now with the good weather and then do my second workout inside later, or do I purposely want to wait so I have to go outside when there's possibly a storm coming, So it's that's kind of interesting, but if you think about it, a lot of people go to the gym, they do maybe an hour class, or if you're lifting weights, that's easily over an hour a lot of the times, right? Hour and a half, plus some travel time. Maybe you stop and talk to somebody before or after the gym. So 2 hours is actually probably about the norm, I would think, for like a life cycle of how long it takes to go to the gym and get back home. So it doesn't actually seem like any extra time working out. On the surface, it might look like it is, but especially now while you're stuck at home, it's actually kind of easy. 45 minutes goes by like that, Go out back and I hop on the bike or I run through one of Alan's, Earn Your Booze F45 style workouts, and it's over before you know it. And you're like, it could keep going, so maybe I'll just do my other 45 one right now, or maybe I'll just wait and start again,
Now, speaking of Alan's F45 Earn Your Booze style workouts, while we're here on the Earn Your Booze podcast, Justin Cross, CEO of Earn Your Booze, tell me about those before we get back into the 75-day challenge, because I know there's more elements than just working out twice a day. But tell me about these Alan workouts and how do we find them?
Yeah, so Alan is one of our business partners, and he's a Earn Your Booze athlete and director of fitness for Earn Your Booze, and he has all sorts of experience. He's been doing group fitness and personal training, I mean, for a very long time, well over 10 years. He's a little bit younger than us, so I forget exactly how long, but he's been doing it a long time. But anyways, he has experience at Orange Theory. He's now the managing partner at an F45 studio. So he's built like a gazelle. I mean, he's in great shape, lots of muscle. He's vegan, which I don't understand how that really works. But anyways, he puts together the best body weight workouts. He's really good at motivating you. He's very clear, very concise. Every time that he writes a workout for Earn Your Booze, he always sends it over to me just for us to kind of talk about, collaborate on, and check out. And from the very first time that he did that, I was blown away. He has it broken down by the second, and he pretty much memorizes every one. So even though there's maybe 3 rounds with 3 movements in it, all with different timing and all water breaks and everything, he will actually run through that before the workout himself and then teach it and do the workout again. So he's just awesome. He's really good. He's very well spoken. He's very clear to understand what he's doing. And even if he's got some crazy new movement that you don't even know what the hell he just called it, Milagro mountain climbers or something, he demonstrates everything very well. So that's something that we're going to be launching on Monday, actually, Milagro Mondays. We're going to be launching a weekly workout, a weekly Milagro tequila cocktail, and a tutorial video on our Instagram and Facebook every Monday now, starting this coming Monday. And we're also going live on a platform called Twitch, which is normally like a gamer app. But basically, you can go on there. We're doing a 40-minute workout Wednesday and Friday, followed by like a fit cocktail made by some of the best bartenders around the country. So it kind of feels like a Food Network type thing. And the greatest thing about it, Rob, is probably that you can put it up on your big screen TV. So there's so much like at-home workout going on right now, but it's all this. Yeah. Well, it's like, okay, if I'm going to follow along on most of the platforms, it's okay, let me put my little phone up here and it's a 5-inch screen. Well, with us on Twitch, you can throw it up on your 60 or your 80-inch TV or whatever you got, your surround sound system, and there you are in the living room or wherever you have a TV, and it's working out really well for us.
And that's one of the biggest interruptions that we've all had is being forced to stay at home. So all of us that know about Earn Your Booze, that try to earn our booze, because we know, look, life hasn't changed. We still want to drink. We still want to, for me, it's beer. I drink a lot of local craft beer made right here in the state of Arizona and elsewhere, but I also like whiskey. But I know because I drink that, I got to stay in shape. And it's challenging for me because I know I can go out and run. So today I went out and I ran, and I've been doing that a lot. And I have some old school beach body videos that I've been busting out. But it's nice to have the other options to break it up. So to be able to use Twitch and get Alan like it would be if you were at a live Earn Your Booze event right there in your living room or bedroom or wherever you're going to work out. It's just so fantastic. And that's kind of one of those adjustments that we all kind of have in common right now is, how am I really going to earn my booze while I'm doing this? And that definitely one of the ways that we here are trying to adapt to this, at least modern era. We don't know how long it's going to go on for, but we're prepared for it, we're ready for it, for you, of course. So let's I think get back into the opportunity. Yeah, go ahead, Justin. Sorry.
I think there's a great opportunity right now because a lot of us get stuck in our routines. We get stuck on our ways, right? Even if it was a good routine of maybe, doing weightlifting and training a couple days a week, or weightlifting and yoga, let's say, that could be great, could be working for you. But we are almost all now forced to adapt and try something else. And I think a lot of people are going to experience some positive change with their bodies because your body can adapt to a routine you stick it in. So if you're used to going to, LA Fitness at this time of day on these days, and you do yoga 2 days a week, that can start to get easy, but you keep doing it because that's your routine. Well, now if you're forced to go out back and pull out those rusty weights you had in the garage or in the shed, or now you have to go run the neighborhood or whatever, like your body is actually, in my opinion, is probably like, thank you. Like I was looking for a change. I was, like I want to do something different. And I think people are going to be surprised if they're working, if they actually, if you're sitting on the couch eating donuts, I mean, you're going to have a different kind of change. But if you're still getting after it, during this quarantine time, I think a lot of people, myself included, are like, oh, this is probably what I actually needed. I needed to bust out of what was the norm for me and do these other things, even though right now I'm kind of frankly bored with a lot of my equipment in the backyard. But it's different and it feels good. And I know when I get back into whatever my next new routine is going to be with the gym, I know I'm actually going to be at an advantage now because I've been building these different muscles, been building endurance, been building these things that I was not getting with my former routine.
And are you getting creative? Because one of the things I like about going to an Orange Theory Fitness or an F45 Fitness is they plan the workout for me. So that's the benefit of that. That's why you pay the extra money. So you have to create, now that you're stuck at home, Justin, the workouts on your own. So that, to go back to the 75-day challenge, is another part of the mental challenge of that. Is that like, okay, so what do I have to do? What do I have to plan? What did I do yesterday? What groups of muscles did I work out yesterday? Has that been challenging or boring so far?
I mean, it's definitely been challenging because, I have limited equipment, but thankfully I do have a decent amount of stuff. I have a pull-up rig. I have some beer kegs that I have a little bit of water in, to do some overhead type stuff. I have an old Schwinn bike to pedal on. And I have some dumbbells and, some stuff like that. But yeah, I just realized today I'm starting to get a little almost like irritated and bored because I'm getting just really good again at things like, for example, push-ups. Like I can knock out 100 push-ups straight now. So if I'm trying to train my chest, I'm thinking of ways trying to add weight to my back, without it being, I don't know, super cumbersome or whatever. But it's getting a little boring. I was doing push-ups earlier, and I was just like, God, come on, get tired, So I just want weights. That's not a brag at all, but it's really just it's an interesting problem that, like I was saying before, you get used to a routine. I'm starting to really get used to these lighter weights and these workout options that I have in my house now. And so now I'm looking for something else. So I'm always trying to adapt and try to do something different. But one thing that's nice about this also coming out of this, I think, is a lot of people worry about overtraining. And I think this is a good opportunity to see really what is overtraining for you. Because a lot of people, if you're stuck on like a chest day, arm day, leg day, back day, shoulder day routine, you're only training those muscles like 1 day a week. Well, now if you're doing push-ups every day or every other day, normally you might have thought you were overtraining, but you might realize, oh wait, no, I actually can do this. This is fine. Maybe I should be training harder when I get back into my gym. Maybe I should be doing chest 3 days a week now,
Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it, but you can only discover that by going through the process and going through the motions. So that's right. There are lessons to learn in any challenge, and obviously you're learning them. So aside from the workouts, the 75-day hard challenge brought to us by Andy Frisella, what else is part of this challenge? I mean, it's already challenging enough to me. I'm like, no, I'm good with one workout a day, maybe 30 minutes. Maybe I'll go run for an hour 10 or whatever. Then I'm done. So you're doubling up the workouts and doing what?
A handful of other things. And I'll rattle them off real quick, then we can talk about whatever one you want. But one of them is you have to read 10 pages from a book every single day. Audio books do not count. It has to be a physical book. So I'm on my third book right now, and I got 2 more lined up after this one. That's every day you have to do that. You have to take a selfie every day, and it doesn't have to be shared, but you take it, and I have a folder in my phone, 75 Hard. I take it, throw it right into that folder, and it's so afterwards you can see your physical progression, right? So it's that. And then it's also, I got the thing up here right now, you follow basically any diet. You don't have to be prescribed any certain diet, but pick a diet and stick with it the whole time, right? And then there's another thing that I think you're going to find really interesting is no alcohol. No booze. So beer and all that. But let's see what else. Oh, yeah. Also, drink a gallon of water a day, which is not a problem for me. I drink over a gallon of water anyway. I just always have. I used to have when I was an engineer at Lockheed. I'd have all my Lockheed stuff on there, and in red letters at the bottom, everything else is black and white. It would say hydrate or die. Which is always there. So people come to my desk to ask about the status of a jet or a weapons check or something, and they hydrate or die, huh? And I was like, I loved it because, yeah, where's your water bottle? You're going to be here for 30 minutes. Go get some water. Then come sit down. You know,
Nice.
So you got to drink a gallon of water a day too.
Okay, so we check that off. That you just fill up a gallon, or know that your water bottle is 32 ounces, and you need to drink so much of that per day.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the reading part, because that's
Never more than an arm length away.
Yeah, see, exactly right. Mine is a little bit more than arm length away, so I can't quite reach it at the moment. But let's go back to the reading part, because I noticed on your Instagram page that you started reading Common Sense, which is old school book, like, Thomas Paine. This was a foundational thought process when this country was founded. And if you check out the video that we're doing of this podcast as well, you notice Justin, who served in the U.S. Navy, has an American flag right behind him. This is a patriotic human being right here. So what drew you to Common Sense, and what did you take out of that?
It was actually a book I had for a long time. I probably owned that book for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years probably. But I never gave it a real shot at reading it. I always knew I wanted to read it. I don't want to say I'm obsessed, but kind of. I'm kind of obsessed with American military history, and I just love, understanding what the world was like, or trying to understand at least 200, 300 years ago is very interesting to me. So it's a book I've had that I've wanted to read for a long time, and this is the perfect example. The first book I read was How to Get Shit Done by Sean Whalen, and then Common Sense from Thomas Paine was my second one. And like you said, that book was created in 1776, and just hearing what he's talking about in there about, the morality of having a king ruling over people, and whether or not, having a king led to more or less civil wars, and what the propaganda was that came those days, and what people had gone through. People were literally being murdered by the government, had their lands burned and taken from them, were being taxed to death, starved. They were going through some insane stuff. So it was just very interesting to hear his points of, in his opinion, it was this is the only time in history where we should be breaking away from England. This is not the time to try to make amends, for a lot of reasons too. If we wait 50 years, all of these colonies we have, now it's going to be harder to get everybody on board to fight as one unit against where we just came from. So there's so many reasons and so much insight into what was going on at that time, that now what really blew my mind was seeing how many things he was talking about in 1772 today. It's nuts. It was there's so many things in that book that could just be extrapolated and pumped out right now into an article that people should read and consider. And it's how is that possible? 200 and what is it, 40 something years ago is ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the credited parts about that book, is how timely yet timeless it actually is, because of the concepts of freedom that are in it, and the power of a government over you. And obviously one of the instrumental books in the American Revolution that sort of tied right into is obviously after the Lexington and Concord shootings in 1775, but it was probably written right around that time, and then published to everybody that next year, when obviously things moved a little bit slower than they did now.
Yeah, it's incredible. And it's actually a little difficult to read, some of that really old English. And, I was laughing actually sometimes, because I would reread a sentence a few times, and I'd be like, wait a minute, you could have said this in today's words in 4 words, but it takes a run-on sentence of this long to say that, the only option was to succeed right now. But it's interesting. So it definitely, it's not a big book. I think it was only 65, 68 pages of actual content without the preface. But it took me a good amount of time to read it, because I would make sure I would go outside in the morning with coffee, with no distractions, no kids, no music, nothing. Because I'm telling you, it was one of those things where you understand the words, maybe not every word, because there were some words in there I had to look up, what is this? I've never seen this before, but it was so interesting, and I wanted to try to put my mind as close as I could to, his mind, and really understand what he was talking. It took a while to read, but it's a pretty quick, easy read.
Yeah. So compare that to the other book you read, How to Get Shit Done by Sean Whalen, because essentially one is a sort of a look at people as a whole and what they need to be free and how a government body should rule them. And then Sean Whalen's book is obviously a motivational book as far as how we need to be as people, as businesses, etc.
Yeah, exactly. And so this book is, I read this one probably about a year ago, right after it came out. I don't know if it's been a year, but pretty close to that, I think. And it was really interesting because, here's a good contrast, actually. This book, they're both pretty small books. They're not novels or anything, but this one, very long, difficult to understand, like, oh my gosh, like, let me really figure this out. Sean's, on the other hand, is big font, lots of cuss words, like right to the point, and it sounds just like us talking, you know what I mean? Like, so he has a thing called Core 4, okay? And it's 4 things you do every day, and it's power, passion, purpose, and production, okay? So he basically breaks that down, but the way he gets into that is he writes it right here. So what the hell is Core 4? So it's just a totally different book as opposed to that one, of course. But what's great about this is, Sean talks about his story, and like now the guy's is very successful. He's flipped out, I think, probably 4,000 properties or so. It's all sorts of businesses. He does business consulting. He's got like over 600 million views, I think, on his social media platforms. He's just a really, really smart, influential guy. But in here, he talks about how he really didn't start to become this man that wrote this until he was at his wit's end with a gun in his mouth in a hotel room.
Wow.
And went through his story on how he made, a company that was producing like $10 million, I believe, a year, lost it all, lost his wife, lost his business, lost everything, and was close to ending his own life. But, he talks here how he basically turned that around and is now, able to help people from his position of having and then losing and then building and having again, and now being able to teach and help. So it's a very it's a great book, really easy to read. I think everyone I know should read this for sure.
Well, and the lessons too of being at the end and then rebuilding. I mean, you have the tattoo on your arm that we can see on the video portion of this. That's the phoenix, right? That's the definition of what a phoenix is. It rises from the ashes and becomes new. Yep. And that's the stories like that. Right. If someone can overcome that, you can overcome whatever it is that the obstacle might be in your way as well.
Yeah, 100%. And that's his thing. He's some people will build a business and whatever level it gets to, let's say it, makes $1 million maybe. And if they lose it, unfortunately, there's some people that end their life over that. He built a business that was, much bigger than that, almost ended his life, but didn't. And so he's been through a lot of struggles, including divorce and, all sorts of crazy things that a lot of people use as a reason to kind of end everything that's going on. But I don't want you to get the impression it's a morbid book. It's not. This is a book that's about kicking you in the ass. It's called How to Make Shit Happen, So that is how the story begins, and he's upfront about it. He doesn't shy away from it. But this book really is, it'll put a lot of things in perspective. What are you doing with your body, with your relationships, with your business? And it's, everyone should read it. You can read it in a day if you wanted to.
Yeah, those are the best kinds too, that motivate you. You get the lessons quickly, because sometimes you get those big long books and you're like, oh, it's just, it does the opposite to, you need to read it, but somehow you always find other things to do. That one, boom, let's get right to it. Right. So that's good. So now you can see the challenge of reading 10 pages a day and what you're picking up from those 10 pages a day to go with your 2 workouts a day, which is a challenge and schedule. You got to get creative, especially since many of us are stuck working at home. So let's talk about the no booze part, because obviously you're the CEO of Earn Your Booze, Justin Cross. So what kind of mental challenge has that been?
It's a great question, and it's a bummer you asked it. So I did dry January last year, and it was kind of tricky, you know, but I got through it, and it was great. We the wife and I went out and celebrated the day that it ended, you know, the day after it ended, and it was cool. So this is much longer than just January. This is 75 days. It's essentially, you know, like 2.5 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be totally honest. Like I technically have failed 75 hard because I've drank a few times, and so that's actually messed with me a little bit because I want to complete 75 hard as prescribed. Like that was actually my intention starting this. And I don't even really want to try to come up with an excuse as to why I decided one day to have 2 beers, right? It was just a handful of reasons. But what I've really learned out of this thing is that these things that are in 75 hard, that's actually how I want to live and run my life now. I want to read every day. I want to continue to drink a gallon a day. I want to eat as clean as possible. And I actually really like the 2 workouts, especially if it's like a strength-based and then an other, like a yoga or a cardio or something. I feel great. I really, really like it. And then the selfie is fine too. I think that's good for tracking. And it's funny, even taking one freaking selfie, you take your shirt off, you get in the camera, even if you're feeling amazing that day, you see and you're like, maybe I'm not where I want to be right now. And it does something, and it makes you second guess. Maybe I shouldn't have that blueberry muffin from Costco tonight. Maybe I shouldn't go out and drink tonight. Or maybe I'm just going to switch over and have, a gin and tonic instead of my growler of double IPA. It's different for everybody, but it's interesting. The things on that list you can tell are very intentional, and they all do something to you mentally. So the booze thing for me is where Earn Your Booze comes in. All those other things that are on the list, the workouts and everything else that I just talked about, that's how I'm earning it. So I am, honestly, I have been cutting back on how much I'm consuming of alcohol, but I'm not worried about having a couple drinks on a day because I know I'm definitely earning it at a level that's much higher than I ever have before and much higher than most people even. But it's really about me, right?
Yeah.
I know that if I go outside and I just get a little pump on, or that's not really earning anything. But if I'm out there working my ass off and I'm sweating and I have to come inside and take a shower and I've eaten good and I've drank my water and I've taken my progress picture, I've read my book, to me it's like, okay, now I have the option. Am I going to booze or not? Am I going to have some drinks or not? You know, so it's interesting. So I don't want to say that, like if Andy Frisella asked me if I'm doing 75 hard, I tell him I failed. Technically I have. I haven't lived up to that thing every day. I'm supposed to start over, right? But what I'm doing now is I'm basically running that every day in my life, but incorporating the booze in when I want, when there's a reason to. And so maybe that's not the right way to do it. There's probably going to be a day in my life where I do a full 75 hard. But at this stage, I really do believe in our message with Earn Your Booze that you can treat alcohol as a reward and you can work hard as fuck and you can earn some good drinks. So I've basically incorporated the 2 right now into my own personal life.
And that's kind of the point, I think, of it is, right? It's you test your boundaries. And 75 hard, it sets hard boundaries. And that's not for everybody. You gave it a shot. I wouldn't even give it a shot because I'm like, I don't want those boundaries. Now, what can I learn from you doing it is kind of the important lesson. And that, I think, is what we're trying to get to today on the Earn Your Booze podcast, which, by the way, if you want to follow us on Instagram, if you haven't already, just go to @EarnYourBooze. And we've got all kinds of interesting things up there for you on just some dope pictures, some workout techniques. There's all kinds of stuff there. So, again, that is on Instagram @EarnYourBooze. The website is earnyourbooze.com. Check that out. Get yourself a shirt if you don't have one yet. So you've found your boundaries, essentially, and saying, okay, where I'm at on April 2020 in the middle of a COVID-19 stay-at-home order, we're doing the 2 workouts a day, which you've been doing for at least, 3 weeks now, if I'm tracking.
Yeah.
So you do that. You're still reading. You're eating on a particular eating plan. I don't even like to call them diets, like paleo diet, because if you think about them as an eating plan, Diet just sounds like it's temporary, whereas a plan,
Right.
but you've stuck to that most of this and you've changed your habits. I'm pretty sure that those are three major wins right there. So that's what you focus on rather than focus on, well, I had a couple beers the other day.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And like I said, this is going to be something that I've learned for me. Like, I used to read a lot, and this has got me back into reading. Huge win for me, right? And in doing the other workouts, I've really become, like I said, addicted to working out outside, which before I kind of would shy away from. So there's a lot of good things that have come out of it for sure.
And that's the point. And that's kind of where I think the earn your booze mentality comes in that we try to preach here. Is it's not the workout part is obviously a and I like to. I don't want to stop doing that. I know I have to, physically earn it. But the mindset is not just about earning the booze. It is about earning life. And whether that's booze, whether that's donuts or tacos, which, by the way, we have those for you as well. Earn your donuts, earn your tacos. But it's about earning the mentality to push yourself further.
That's right. And it's actually perfect timing with this quarantine right now to work on yourself, work on things that maybe you've always wanted to do, even if it's something as simple as picking up a book every day, but use this time as a way to double down on the things that, help you personally, maybe help your business, help your family, all that. And, and don't let all the negative or the shitty, tendencies you might have take over, because it's very easy during this time to justify watching Netflix too often, eating shitty food, drinking a ton of alcohol. There's nothing else to do. I mean, I could justify just about anything right now,
Mm-hmm.
But I really do believe it's going to be those people that go the other direction and work on improving themselves during this time that are really going to succeed as we get back to whatever the new normal is going to be.
Yeah, and I think that when you add a level of mental toughness, because all of us have had to adjust our lives in ways which we didn't even have to. We were told to. So, for example, here in Arizona, like many other states, restaurants, bars, breweries, places we all like to go and hang out, they're closed for dine-in service. So you had to adjust to that, as many of us do that, at least once or twice a week. Grocery stores are weird when you go into. I haven't seen toilet paper on the shelf, Justin, in over a month. Every time I go in the store, there's nothing there. People are wearing masks in public. So you have all of these adjustments, and let alone many people have shifted to working from home. Many people are furloughed from their jobs. So these adjustments are all very trying mentally. So that's where you have to find your grit, your earn it mentality, because that will be, if you can handle this, what we're going through right now, you can handle anything that came your way. Going back to Sean Whalen's book, How to Make Shit Happen. You talk about how his book starts. Well, perhaps this is where our books start. And if you want to teach the lessons that we're going to learn to become mentally tough now while we're earning it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite quotes is, "Calm seas never made a skilled sailor." If you think about that, there's never been a skilled sailor that was made out of fair weather. Just if it was easy to put the boat in the water and you sailed around and had no issues, what did you really learn? Nothing. You learned maybe how to raise the mast and, just basic shit. That's it. But if you have a different experience and you go out there and you learn how to get through hurricanes and your boat sinks twice and you figure out how to survive in the water, and then you get back on a new crew and, and just go through all these hardships, that's where, times like this that are difficult are great. Because like you said, you make it through this, especially if you can make it through stronger. I mean, come on, everything else is going to be so much easier and seem so much easier because you already made it through these really difficult times. Now, if we're back to the new normal, whatever. And who cares if your boyfriend breaks up with you? I mean, it's okay. Well, yeah, I just went through 3 months of quarantine without a job, and I fought with depression, and I figured out how to take care of myself that whole time. We come out of this, and it's like, okay, cool, we're on easy street.
Every challenge is an opportunity, and there's certainly one right now. So we here at Earn Your Booze encourage you to reach out to us. We've got some resources, some things going on they want you to keep track of because they will definitely help you. And when you rock your shirts and your gear, your hats, it's showing the world what your mentality is. And I think that that's, at least from my standpoint as the CBO, when I see it, I'm like, that's a mentally tough person. That's a person who understands what earning it, not just your booze is, but you understand you got to earn the rewards of life.
Yeah, exactly. And especially like booze, if you think about it, let's say most people, or maybe everybody watching this drinks at some point, right? Or most of the people do, right? Acknowledging that the booze portion, the fun portion, is not necessarily healthy or the best lifestyle choice. Acknowledging that takes some balls, right? But then you're pushing back and saying, I understand that it's not the healthiest thing, but I'm taking measures to take care of myself to earn it. So it really is like a big badge of confidence and a big badge of like, yeah, I like to have a good time, but I'm also being responsible and taking care of myself. And, whether I'm in an airport or a bar or a gym or wherever, when someone sees the shirt, if they, it's fun to see what the different reactions are. If someone asks about it and I tell them, they're like, oh, that's great. That's what I do with my life anyway. Like whether you're in insurance sales or construction or a personal trainer or whatever, people that like to drink and like to work out are, in a sense, earning their booze. That's what they're doing. They're trying to look good. So when they go to the bar to buy drinks for girls, it all works, So it's a lifestyle and a mentality that I think so many people are getting behind. They get it. They're like, oh, that's what I was doing anyway. Of course I want that shirt. But it's more than just a shirt. It's like it gives more of an intention. Like I'm now working out because I know I want to have Grimaldi's pizza and Goldwater beer tonight. And like, so maybe I'm not going to skip that cardio because it's Saturday and I got plans to do all you can eat sushi, So it just kind of evolves into that whole, you don't want to skimp on taking care of yourself because it almost makes everything else taste and feel better.
It does. And you're letting yourself live and acknowledging that sometimes that Grimaldi's pizza tastes really, really good. We're not talking about eating it every single day, but we're talking about making sure you take the time and appreciation to, I'm going to try this Basil Hayden whiskey because I've heard so much about it. Or I'm going to eat that thing that I'm going to go to New Orleans once in my life and I'm going to eat some etouffee or I'm going to have some fatty food because you're prepared for it because you don't want to miss out on that part of life either. So long as you do it in some moderation.
Yeah, and that's when you might have a friend that looks at you like, oh, you're getting dessert, you're getting 2 desserts, and you're like, well, yeah. If you had any clue what I went through this last week, not like it's punishment, but it's just like, I've spent a lot of time working on myself, taking care of myself. This is my reward, and like that might even trigger someone to be like, oh, then why am I getting dessert? I didn't do shit this week. Like maybe I should start taking care of myself.
Exactly. I'll leave it right there. His name is Justin Cross. You can check us out at Earn Your Booze on Instagram, earnyourbooze.com. He is the CEO and the founder of Earn Your Booze. And of course, if you're watching this on video, this is our podcast. You can subscribe to it on iTunes. I guess it's Apple Podcasts now, Google Podcast. We've also up on Spotify and iHeartRadio as well. So we'd love it if you joined us. My name is Rob Hunter, the CBO. Any final words for us, Justin?
Hey, everyone out there, just take care of yourself. Hope everyone's doing well. And of course, if you are drinking and you are eating donuts and all that fun quarantine type food, just earn it. Get out there and move. It doesn't matter what you do. Do yoga, go run around the block, jump online with us, do some sort of bodyweight workout, whatever it is, get your body moving and earn those drinks and that good food.
Any questions that you need, hit us up on our Instagram page. Easiest way to find us.
Anytime.
We'll get you some answers. Exactly. Till next time, my name is Rob Hunter, the CBO of Earn Your Booze, with Justin Cross, the CEO of Earn Your Booze. Back with you real soon.